to an introductory webinar to celebrating ADHD, empowering the ADHD tribe. Thank you for choosing to watch this video. It's basically going to give you an insight into what celebrating ADHD is about and what taking charge of it is about, to basically live life with to the strengths of having ADHD. So we're going to go into a few introductions. I'm going to introduce myself, and then we're going to talk about the purpose of this webinar and what it's actually about, the vision for celebrating ADHD, and then the next steps should you wish to take them. So if we look at statistics, ADHD action, say about 1.5 million adults in the UK have the condition, but only 120,000 are formally diagnosed. So that's a big number of people out there that are not even diagnosed with ADHD, and they may be experiencing some of the symptoms. So what are we going to do? Before we go into the purpose, I'm going to just give a little bit of a background to myself. Sue Hart. I'm the founder of Celebrating ADHD, having been diagnosed myself about 2 years ago. I'm 45 years old. And I realized actually when I started researching into it, that there are several treatments available. So there's traditional treatments, and there's, in terms of medicine, chemical treatments, and then also there's sort of natural treatments in terms of behavioral changes that are required to really make life a little bit easier and to reduce the symptoms. But also there's an element of actually celebrating it, because it's such a relief to actually find out what has been causing the issue for so many years. Having received the diagnosis, which was one step, it took a journey actually, which I'm still on, and it takes time. So the first thing is actually accepting the diagnosis and just really getting present to what can you do right now to take charge of it. Rather than it controlling you, you can control it. So I started looking into things that I could do. Dr. Russell Barkley is one of the leading doctors in this field, and he says the meds don't work on their own, which is true. And I looked at coaching, and when I looked at coaching, yes, there are ADHD coaches out there, which is great, but the cost of them is just extortionate. You know, nearly £200 an hour, between £100 and £200 an hour is just something I just couldn't afford, because we know it's not going to take 1 hour, right? It's going to take a lot of hours to really change behavior. So I started looking at support groups to get help. Many charities out there, which is great to build awareness, but there wasn't one that was really practical and hands-on. So I thought, look, why not create it? And then it can benefit myself and also benefit others around me too. So that's exactly what I've done. In terms of looking at a program, I've researched with some of the leading researchers in this field. Dr. Stephen Safran looked at his course of Mastering Adult ADHD, and then just added to it from other professionals like Melissa Orlav on relationships, because that's a key part in it, is the relationships. It really is the elephant in the room. So this course is practical. It's really something that will give accountability to make those changes happen. So firstly, we've got to get present to a celebration, okay? Because it is a celebration. It's a celebration of the life that you have. So firstly, if you get present to that, that's even enough just to celebrate your life. And that can make changes to the way that you view life. You have a precious human life, and it's been given to you. And you've got a lot to offer to humanity. And there are many benefits to having ADHD. And I'm going to go through those with you. And we're going to get present to that today. Also gives a better way to cope, because when you know that you're not alone, when I first started speaking to other people that had ADHD, it really gave me relief that I wasn't on my own with this. Other people out there are dealing with this too. So it's a better way to cope. It's interactive as well. So during lockdown, obviously we can't meet up in person, but we can actually just meet online. And we still you get a lot from the group dynamic. As practical tips, and that comes from the course, and it also comes from the people that do the course, because other people have found different ways to cope and also to be more productive. It's goal orientated. So it's really about taking charge. It's not about the information, because we know that we can actually know something, but it's about applying it to your life. So it's also about individual coaching as well. So you do get access on a one-to-one basis as well. And it's about psychological breakthroughs. It's about breaking through those barriers of fear, procrastination, distraction. And just as we go through the journey, there will be many. And it's about celebrating them as you go through. So let's look at the facts, okay? ADHD exists. It is real. It is a neurological disorder. It's the executive functions which are impaired. So they produce symptoms of inattention, hyperactivity, and impulsivity. So the thought comes in and we react straight away. It's about the chemical imbalances in the brain, mainly dopamine. The medication doesn't work on its own. This is the key thing. So it requires a holistic approach. Let's work together and empower ourselves to get what we want for our life. So what is the vision? Well, it's to expand the minds of humanity, celebrate and empower anyone and everyone who has been diagnosed with AD or ADHD through an accessible and affordable transformational course online globally. This is not about information, it's about transformation. the next thing to do is, if you really want to take charge and you want to start changing the way that you view ADHD, is that fill in the application form now. Get involved. Now, if you're in some kind of financial difficulty and you cannot afford the monthly subscription, then you can actually get involved in the project. You put in what skills you can offer, and then we will go from there. So it's about creating the world you live in for you right here, right now. Are you ready to take charge of your life?